good day. I'm Melody Pearl Osorio, your business mathematics subject. What is business math? Business math is a type of mathematics course that is meant to reach people about money and provide them with the tools they need to make informed financial decisions. Business math is not only teaches about the specifics of finances related to owning and operating a business, but also offers helpful advice and information related to personal finance. These classes prepare any consumer to manage their finances responsibly and profitably by explaining everything they need to know about accounting, economics, marketing, financial analysis, and more. Business math will help to make the ins and outs of money and commerce make sense even to the most math-averse individuals using relevant and authentic application. So now, class, our lesson for today is adding whole numbers. Our goals in adding whole number: first, define whole numbers. Second, whole numbers. Third, whole numbers are the numbers that you probably use mostly often in your life. Definition of addition is the operation of combining numbers to get one number called the sum. The numbers to be added are called addends. Whole numbers consist all the natural numbers or counting numbers as we see here and 0. Natural numbers are stored in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. Then for whole numbers, start in 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. So our principles of addition. The order in which we add the numbers does not affect the sum. This is the commutative principle of addition. For example, 8 plus 7 equals 7 plus 8. So, ibig sabihin, class, kahit baliktarin po natin si 8 and 7, okay lang po dahil hindi naman po siya nakaka-apekto sa ating sagot. If there are 3 or more numbers to be added, the way we group the numbers does not affect the sum. This is called the associative principle of addition. For example, class, open close parenthesis 5 plus 7 plus 9 is equal to 5 plus open close parenthesis 7 plus 9. So dito, class, napapansin nyo na kahit sa 5 plus 7 pa natin ilagay ang open close parenthesis or sa 7 plus 9, it's the same pa rin naman po. So hindi po siya nakaka-apekto sa ating pagko-compute. Adding 0 to a number does not change the number. This 0 is the identified element for addition. So for example, class, 15 plus 0 is equal to 15 or 0 plus 28 is equal to 28. So ibig sabihin, class, hindi rin po makaka-apekto sa ating pagsosolve kung si 0 man po ay mailagay natin sa unang, gitna o sa huli ng ating given. Next, in adding numbers, we must remember that only digits of the same units can be added. Thus, ones are added to ones, tens to tens, hundreds to hundreds, then thousand to thousand, and so on. For example, 456 plus 327 plus 809 is equal to 1,592. Kung mapapansin niyo po, class, yung aking given, ito po ay pare-parehas na meron pong ones, tens, hundreds, kung saan gumamit po tayo ng place value. Next, adding by grouping. Adding by grouping. We adding 10 or more numbers, separate them into groups of 3 or more and total each group, then the sum of the subtotals gives the final answer. For example, class, 285 plus 382 plus 417 is equal to 1,084. Then 238 plus 579 plus 684 is equal to 1,501. Then, 123 plus 654 plus 438 is equal to 1,694. Now, let's add 1,084 plus 1,501 plus 1,694 is equal to 4,279. So, this is the example for adding by grouping class. Adding whole number. It is a very straightforward. In this problem of the whole numbers, we have 1 plus 2 is equal to 3, which we have a total of 1, 2, 3 items. The numbers being added are called the addends. So in this case, the 1 and 2, and the answer is called sum. In this problem, the sum is 3. Now, one of the key to adding whole numbers is knowing place value. Starting with the rightmost digit of a whole number, you have it ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, 100,000s, and millions. So for example, class, write the whole number in expanded form to represent the place value of each digit to the right this number. In this table, 1 is to represent 10,000, 5 represent 5,000, the 2 is in the hundreds, so represents 200, 6 in the tens, so represents 60, so ones represents 4. For expanded form, shows what each digit that represents in this number based upon in place value. Okay, so here is the procedures for adding whole numbers. Write the sum in vertical form and line up corresponding place values. Add by starting with the ones column. Carry if the sum of any column is a 2-digit number. So for example, 348 plus 73, we write this in vertical form, so write down 348 and then writing this in vertical form, we all line up the 3 with the 8 in the ones column, and now find this sum by adding the columns. Starting with the ones column, 8 plus 3 will be 11, 11 will be a 1 in the tens column and a 1 in the ones column. So we will write down the 1 in the ones column, 4 in this column. Now we add the digits in the tens column. We have to add. So 1 plus 4 plus 2 is equal to 7. That will be 12. So we write down the 2 in the tens column. We carry the ones to the hundreds column. So for the hundreds column, we have 1 plus 3, which will be 4. Our sum is 421. So kung mapapansin niyo po class, para masagutan natin yung ating given, pinag-add po natin yung ating 348 plus 73. So kaya po ang total ng ating sagot para sa given na ito ay 421. Another example. Here we have 14,389 plus 6,846. So, let's write in a vertical way or in a vertical form. Notice all of the place values are lined up vertically. Let's go ahead and start and find the sum of each column starting in the ones. The sum of each column starting in the ones. 9 plus 6 will be 15. So we will write down the 5 in the ones column and carry a 1 to the tens column. 1 plus 8 plus 4 will be 13. So we will write down the 3 and carry the 1. 1 plus 4 plus 6, that will be 11. Write down the 1 carry. So 1 plus 1 will be 2. Our sum is 21,235. For problems naman po class, the current balance of your checking account is $204. You deposit your paycheck of $748 and a rebate check for $149. So the questions, what will the new balance of your checking account be once the checks have cleared? So we have $204 in our checking account, and then we add our deposit of $748 and then add a rebate check for $149. So we want to find the sum of these three numbers. So as long as we line up the place value, we can add all three of these. Add the place values. We can add all three of these at the same time. We have 204, 748, and 149. And we all follow the same procedures. We all start with the ones column. 4 plus 8 plus 9 will be 21. So we will write down the 1 and carry the 2 into the tens column. Here we have 0 plus 4 plus 4, that's 8. Plus the 2 that we carry, that will be 10. So we will write down the 0 and carry the 1 to the hundreds column. So here we have 2 plus 7 plus 1, that is 10 plus 1, which will be 11. So the new balance and the checking account will be $1,011. Okay, that's going to do it for adding whole numbers. Okay, next topic class. Kung tapos na tayo sa adding whole numbers, so now, subtracting whole numbers. Our goals in these lessons, define subtracting whole numbers. Subtraction is the mathematical computation of taking away or deducting an amount from a given number. Definition of subtraction is the process of finding the difference between two numbers. The number to be subtracted is the subtrahend. The number from which another is to be subtracted is the minuend. And the result to be attained is the difference. As in addition, only numbers of the same order may be subtracted. To check the difference obtained, add the difference to the subtrahend. The sum should be equal to the minuend. In business math, subtraction is the opposite of addition. So let's take a look at subtracting whole numbers. Subtraction is the mathematical computation of taking away or deducting an amount from a given number. Difference. The original or top number is the minuend. The amount we are subtracting from the original number is the subtrahend. And the answer is the difference, sometimes called the remainder, although difference is preferred. Symbol. The dash, sometimes natawag natin siyang dash, but in a subtraction, symbol represents subtraction and is called the minus sign. Now, subtracting whole numbers. So we have 3 steps. So first steps, write the whole numbers in columns so that the place values line up. Second, starting with the units column, subtract the digit. Third, when a column cannot be subtracted, you must borrow a digit from the column to the left of one you are working in. An easy and well-known method of verifying subtraction is to add the difference and the subtrahend. If you subtracted correctly, this total will equal. Next, for verifying. For subtraction, meron po tayong tinatawag na verification. So, sa verification class, dito nyo malalaman kung alin po ba ang minuend, subtract, and difference. So, I have a simple given here, 200 minus 50. Si 200 ay tinatawag natin minuend, then yung negative 50 ay tinatawag naman po natin subtracted. So, 200 minus 50 is equal to 150. Si 150 naman po ay tinatawag nating difference. Next, for verification Si 150 na ating sagot para sa 150 subtraction ay gagamitin natin para makuha ang ating minuend. So now, 150 plus 50 dun sa ating minus o dun po sa ating minus kanina is equal to 100 na ating minuend. So, ganyan po ang pagkuha ng ating verification in subtraction. Okay, next. For example, subtract these 3-digit numbers. So, 763 minus 279 is equal to 484. So, dito, mapapansin nyo class na meron tayong column para sa ones, tens, and hundreds in a same key for place values. For example, subtract and check. So, 415 minus 350 is equal 65. So, dito mapapansin nyo class na gumamit pa rin po tayo ng place value, kaya meron pa rin po tayong ones, tens, and hundreds. Next, for checking, we use adding sign para makita po natin yung minuend, subtracted, and the difference. So, now, 65 our difference plus po natin dyan is yung ating sinubtract na 350 is equal to 450 na ating minuend kanina sa minus sign sa kabila. Another example, subtract 3,689 from 9,000. It is a given for this example. 9,000 minus 3,689 is equal to 5,311. Ina-apply pa rin po natin dito ang ating place value. Next, for checking po, para sa addition, 9,000, ito ang ating minuend na inad natin sa kanina nating sinubtract na 3,689 at inequal po natin sa 9,000 na kanina ay minuend naman po. Next, for checking naman po para sa subtract, 9,000 minus 5,311 is equal to 3,689. Find the difference in each of the following. Remember, the words gross means before deduction and the word net means after deduction. Gross, yan po ay bago tayo kaltasan o bawasan. Net, ito naman po ay pagkatapos makaltasan o bawasan. For example, meron tayong amount na 548 pesos at ang na-less po sa atin o nabawas ay 173 pesos. Kaya po ang natira na lang sa ating net ay 375 pesos. Another example, our gross earnings is 13,450 pesos. Now, ang ating deduction o binawas po sa atin ay 11,269 pesos po. Kaya ang total na lang po ng ating net ay 2,181 pesos. Subtracting whole numbers. So here's a pretty straightforward subtraction problem involving two whole numbers. Here we have 5 minus 2 equals 3. So to model this, if we have 5 items and we subtract 2 or take away 2 of them, we left with 1, 2, 3 items. So 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. So subtracting whole numbers is the opposite of adding whole numbers. The minuend is the starting number of the number in which another number is being subtracted. So in this example class, the subtrahend is 2 and the difference is the result or the answer of the subtraction. So our difference is 3. So in order to subtract whole number, we all write the difference in vertical form and line up the corresponding place values just as we did when we adding whole numbers. And now, we all subtract by starting with the ones column, working our way left. However, if the column does not have a large enough number to subtract, we will have to borrow from the column on the left. Let's take a look at an example. 4,389 right and working our way left. 9 minus 6, that will be 3. 8 minus 4 will be 4. Now, the next column, we have 3 minus 8. We can take away 8 from 3, so we have to borrow from the 4. So we change the 4 to a 3 and then add 10 to the 3, which will give us 13. So now, for this column, we have 13 minus 8, that is 5. And notice here with 3 minus 8, again, we have to borrow. So we'll change 1 to a 0. And 10 to the 3, so we have 13 minus 6. So our difference is 7,543. Next, let's take a look at a word problem. You have 1,284 in your checking account if you write check for a car repair for $529 and then write another check to your landlord for $450. What is your ending balance? So we start with the beginning balance, 1,284. We have to subtract the first check of $529. This will give us the balance after the first check clears. Notice, in the first column, we can't subtract 9 from 4. So we have to borrow from the 8. So we change this to 7 and add 10 to the ones column. So this is 14. 14 minus 9 will be 5. The next column is 7 minus 2. That will be 5. In the next column, we have 2 minus 5. Normally, we would borrow, but since this is the last column to subtract, we can go ahead and just take 12 and subtract 5 to get 7. That will be the same thing as changing this to a 0 and adding 10 to the 2 to get 12. So after the first check clears, we have $755 in our account. But now, we have to subtract the second check of $415. So we all have 755 minus 415, and this will give us the ending balance once the check clear. So 5 minus 0, that will be 0. And then 7 minus 4, that will be 3. So the new balance of the account will be $305 after those two checks clear. Definition of cash book. The cash book is the actual record of receipts and expenses. It is done much like the budget except that at the left-hand side, the dates are written when the receipts or payments are made. So, ibig sabihin po, class, ang cash book ay ito yung pinaka-actual na record kung saan nakalagay na mismo ang mga dates, mga hiniram, mga inutang, nautang, mga binayaran at iba pang mga pinagamitan niyo po. At katulad na rin dito ay yung nakarecord na rin yung mga binudget nyo o babudgetin nyo pa lang po. For example, nakabudget na ang inyong pera sa isang linggo. So para ma-budget nyo po iyon, we need to record our expenses. In large companies or business, the day-to-day transactions are recorded in a journal and afterwards transferred to a ledger. This is done by an account or bookkeeper who is an expert in this but is not to be treated in this book. However, the personal cash book provides the basic principle in recording transaction. Mas lalo na po sa malalaking companies like Bangko. Meron po silang mga cash book upang makita ng teller yung kanilang dinedeposit that time at inihuhulog ulit para malaman din natin ang ating balance sa bangko. Okay class, in cash book we have formulas. First, beginning balance plus cash receipts equal total cash available. Total cash available minus po natin sa payments is equal to ending balance. For example, the Matipid family cash book, June 2000. So we have date, explanation, receipts, and payments. For the date of June 1, our explanation first, meron po tayong balance ng June 1 na natira binayaran. Ito po ay 2,768. Next, salary of dating matipid for May 16 to May 31 is 8,125 pesos na nasa receipts or nasa resibo. For salary of nanay matipid for May 16 to May 31 din po is 6,350.50 pesos na nasa receipts din po. For the date of June 2, our explanation donation for a dead neighbor's family na ating binigyan ay 100 pesos na nakalagay sa payments. Groceries na ating binayaran ay merong 1,436.75 pesos. Rice, vegetables, fish, eggs po ay nagkakalagang 847.50 pesos. For the date of June 3, our explanation, Meralco bill na ating binayaran ay nagkakalagang 1,386.25 pesos. For the date of June 4, our explanation, cough medicine na ating binili ay nagkakahalagang 54 pesos. Water bill na ating binayaran ay 92.75 pesos. For the date of June 5, our explanation fare to and from work on May 1 to 5 is 210 pesos. For the date of June 6, our explanation divided from cooperative, nakakuha po tayo ng 375 pesos sa ating receipts. For the date of June 7, our explanation savings deposit is 2,000 pesos. Kung mapapansin niyo po class, lahat po yan ay estimated value lang po. Our total for receipts is 14,850.50 pesos. Dahil pinag-add po natin yung 8,125 plus 6,350.50 plus 375. Kaya nakuha po natin yung 14,850 pesos. Next, in-add din po natin yung balance natin noong June 1 na 2,768. Kaya ang total po ng ating receipts ay 17,618.50 pesos. Our totals for payments is 6,127.25 pesos. Bakit po ma? Dahil pinag-add po natin yung 100 plus 1,436.75 plus 847.50 plus 1,386.25 plus 54 plus 92.75 plus 210. Kaya po ang naging total po ay 6,127.50 pesos. So now, let's subtract para makuha po natin yung natira sa ating pera noong June 8. Total payments natin class ay 6,127.25 minus po sa total receipt na 17,618.50. Kaya po ang nakuha natin na natira